Hello, Paula Daniele from Crochet Hook here, and this is my fruit salad slouchy beanie that I've designed because I've had so many requests to do a video tutorial of a slouchy beanie, so here it is. It's finally here. Now this will fit an average size lady's head, and if you want to make smaller sizes you can use smaller crochet hooks. The materials I've used for my slouchy beanie are Red Heart with Love yarn, and this colour is Lettuce, and it's a medium category 4. Now I've used that for the main part, or the back part of the beanie, and for the front band of the beanie I've used the Red Heart with Love, and it's called Fruit Punch, and that is also category 4 medium worsted weight yarn. Now with the green part of the beanie I have used a 6.5mm hook, and then for the front band I've used a 6mm hook, which is just slightly smaller. Now with materials required you'll also need your scissors and a yarn needle. To get started I'm using my Lettuce coloured yarn with my 6.5mm hook, and I've chained on 6 chain stitches, and now we'll do a slip stitch into the first chain stitch there. So we'll make a slip stitch to join and form a ring. Now we'll be working into that ring and working over this yarn tail. So for round 1 we'll chain 2, 1, 2, and now working over this tail as we go we'll do 11 double crochet stitches into this ring. There's 1. See how I'm working over the tail as I go. There's 2 double crochet. 3. So I'll let you continue on, and you'll need to make 11 double crochet stitches into the ring, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, so I've done my 11 double crochet stitches into the ring, and now we're going to join into the back loop of this chain 2, and that chain 2 at the start of every round counts as 1 stitch. So we've done 11 double crochet plus the chain 2 counts as a stitch, so we've got 12 stitches at the end of round 1. Now just pull on your yarn tail here just to tighten the centre up there, and now up to round 2 we'll chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to do 1 double crochet stitch into the same space as the chain 2 here. And it's quite obvious where you need to go because there's a great big gap there. So double crochet stitch into that space, and then we're going to do 2 double crochet stitches into each stitch around, right around to the end. There's 1, and then into that same stitch do a second double crochet, and then you're going to repeat that, so 2 double crochet stitches into each stitch right around until the end. So I'm up towards the end of round 2 I've just done my last 2 double crochet stitches in the last stitch here. Now there you can see our join from the previous round, and here's our chain 2. Now we want to join into the back loop of that second chain stitch to complete this round. And at the end of round 2 you have 24 stitches, and that includes counting in the chain 2 as 1 stitch. So 24 stitches at the end of round 2. For round 3 we'll start off with a chain 2, 1, 2, and then our repetitive sequence will be 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So to start the sequence we do 2 double crochet stitches into this first stitch, so there's 1, and there's 2 double crochet stitches into that first stitch there. Now into the next stitch we'll do 1 double crochet, and into the next stitch 1 double crochet. So you're going to repeat that sequence right around. So 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, repeating that right around up until the last 2 stitches, and I'll see you there. So I'm up to my last 2 stitches at the end of round 3 here, and into the next stitch here we're going to do 2 double crochet stitches into that same stitch. So there's 1 double crochet and 2 double crochet into that next stitch. Now into the last stitch here we'll do 1 double crochet stitch. Now there you can see our join from the previous round. Here's our chain 2, and we're going to join into that second chain stitch just into the back loop and make a slip stitch to join that round. So at the end of round 3 you'll have 32 stitches. Now for round 4 we'll start off with a chain 2, 1, 2, and our repetitive sequence for this round will be 2 double crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So we'll get started. So into this next stitch, the first stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochet stitches into the same stitch here. So there's our first one, and here's our second one. Into the next stitch, 1 double crochet, into the next stitch, 1 double crochet, and into the next stitch, 1 double crochet. So this is the sequence you'll repeat right around. 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, repeating that right around up until the last 3 stitches. Now I'm up towards the end of round 4, and I have 3 stitches left here. Now into this next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochet stitches. There's 1, and 2 into that same stitch, and into these last 2 remaining stitches we'll do 1 double crochet stitch into each. So there's 1 into that stitch, and now we'll do 1 into the next and last stitch there. Now you can see our join from the previous round. Here's our chain 2, and we want to join into that second chain stitch just into the back loop by making a slip stitch to join the round. So at the end of round 4 you should have 40 stitches. Now to start round 5, we'll chain 2, 1, 2, and the repetitive sequence for this round will be 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet stitch into each of the next 4 stitches. So we'll start with our first one here. We're going to do 2 double crochet stitches into this first stitch. So there's 1, and there's 2. And now we'll do 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. One into the next stitch, 2 into the next stitch, 3 into the next stitch. There's our 4th one in the sequence. So now you'll repeat right around 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches, repeating that right around and up until the last 4 stitches. So now I'm up towards the end of round 5 and I have 4 stitches remaining here. Now into this next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochet stitches. So there's 1 and a second double crochet stitch into that same stitch there. And now we have 3 remaining stitches. We'll do 1 double crochet stitch into each of those remaining stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3. There you can see our join from the previous round, and here's our chain 2, and we want to join into the back loop of that chain 2, making a slip stitch to join and end this round 5. Now at the end of round 5 you should have 48 stitches. So to start round 6 we'll chain 2, 1, 2, and our repetitive sequence for this round will be 2 double crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. So into this next stitch, 2 double crochet. So there's our first one, and we'll make a second one into that same stitch. Now we'll do 1 double crochet stitch into each of the next 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're going to repeat that sequence right around. 2 double crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches, repeating that right around up until the last 5 stitches. I'm up towards the end of round 6 and I have my 5 remaining stitches here, and in this next stitch we'll do 2 double crochet stitches. There's 1, and then a second double crochet stitch into the same stitch there. There's 2. And into these last remaining 4 we'll do 1 double crochet stitch into each. There's 1, 2, 3, into our last one, 4. There you can see our join from the previous round, and here's our chain 2, and into that second chain, into the back loop, we'll join with a slip stitch to end round 6. So at the end of round 6 you have 56 stitches, and for all following rounds you'll have this same amount of stitches, so 56 stitches for all remaining rounds. So we've finished the crown part of the beanie, which is actually, for a slouchy beanie, it ends up being the back part that flops down, and now we'll be working on the sides. So for round 7 we'll start off with a chain 2, so 1, 2, and we're going to do 1 double crochet stitch into each stitch around. So here's our first stitch here. So this is a really easy round, this one. Just 1 double crochet stitch into each stitch around. So I'll let you continue on making your double crochet stitches into each stitch around, and I'll see you at the end of round 7. I'm up towards the end of round 7 after making 1 double crochet stitch into each stitch around, and I've made my last stitch there. You can see our join from the previous round, and here's our chain 2, and we're going to join into the back loop of that second chain stitch, making a slip stitch, and that completes round 7. Now for rounds 8 to 18 you'll repeat round 7, and I'll meet you at the end of round 18. Okay, so I've just finished round 18, and this is what the slouchy beanie will look like now. So we're finished with this coloured yarn, and we can cut the yarn here, and we're going to finish off. And we're finished with the 6.5mm hook too. So we can put this yarn aside and that hook aside, and now we'll be using our 6mm hook, and I'll be using the Fruit Punch yarn, and we'll be joining this yarn into the same space where we just finished off, so just in there. I'm just going to make a slip stitch to join this yarn in. So for this round we'll be working over those 2 yarn tails, and we'll be working into just the back loops of each stitch. But for this, where we've just joined into, we're going to do 1 single crochet stitch. Make sure your yarn tails are over your hook so you can work over them and work them into the work, so you don't have to sew them in later. So into each back loop of each stitch, you're going to do a single crochet stitch, working over the yarn tails. So that's all you'll be doing on this round. So continue making your single crochet stitches, just 1 single crochet stitch into each back loop of each stitch around, and I'll see you at the end. I'm up towards the end of round 19, and I've just made my last single crochet stitch into the back loop of this stitch here. And there's our join from the previous round, and there's our chain 1, chain 2. Now we want to join into this first single crochet stitch by making a slip stitch, and that joins round 19, and that's what it looks like. Now for round 20, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do 1 single crochet stitch into the same space there as the chain 1, into the same stitch underneath that chain 1 there. So there's our first single crochet stitch, and now we're going to do 1 single crochet stitch into each stitch around, and we're working in under both loops of the stitches. So 1 single crochet stitch into each stitch right around to the end, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. I'm up towards the end of round 20, and I've just made my last single crochet stitch into this last stitch here, and there you'll see the join, the chain 1, and there's our first single crochet stitch that we made on this round, and we want to join into that one and make a slip stitch. And that ends round 20, and this is what it's looking like now. So for rounds 21 to 22, you'll need to repeat round 20. So I'll see you at the end of round 22. Okay, so I've just finished round 22, and we're up to round 23. So for round 23, we'll chain 1, and then we'll do 1 single crochet into the same space as the join, and we're only working in back loops for this round. So into the back loop there, just making a single crochet. And then for each and every stitch around, do a single crochet into the back loop of each stitch. And that's all you'll be doing for this round. So I'll let you continue on making your single crochet stitches into the back loop of each stitch, and I'll see you at the end of this round. I'm up towards the end of round 23, and I've just made my last single crochet stitch into the back loop of this last stitch here. There's our join, there's our chain 1, and this is the first single crochet stitch we made on this round, and we want to join into that stitch with a slip stitch to finish round 23. Now for round 24, we're going to chain 1, and we'll do a single crochet stitch into the same space here as the chain 1. And then we're going to do a single crochet stitch into each stitch around, and we're working under both loops of each stitch for this round. So one single crochet stitch into each stitch around, right around to the end. So I'll let you continue on, and I'll see you at the end of this round. I'm up towards the end of round 24. I've made my last single crochet stitch into the last stitch here. There's our join from the previous round. That was our chain 1 at the start of this round, and that's the first single crochet stitch we made on this round. So we want to join into that first single crochet stitch by making a slip stitch, and that completes round 24, and this is what it's looking like now. So for rounds 25 and 26, you'll repeat round 24, and I'll see you at the end of round 26. I've just completed round 26, so now we're ready to finish off. So you can cut your yarn now. And finish off. Now with your yarn needle, you'll weave these yarn tails into the back of your work. So just weave it in down through there, and with the one in the center, in the middle here, with your yarn needle, just weave it in around there to tighten that up. And once you've done that, this is what your slouchy beanie will look like. It'll look very big, and that's okay. That's what it's supposed to look like. So that's what it looks like off the head. And this is what it looks like when it's on the head. So once you've finished your slouchy beanie, if you'd like to share a photo, then feel free to do so on the Crochet Hook Shoe Facebook page.